Okay, so in my report I looked at an analysis of John Lewis's internal and external environment. So just to give a brief introduction to John Lewis, it's a retail department store. It's one of the leading ones in the UK, and it's quite in the high bracket, so its competitors are the likes of House of Fraser, Marks & Spencer's and Debenhams. Has over 350,000 product lines, range from homeware to electrical goods, to fashion, to food. So to start off with, I looked at my external environment and I used a personal analysis to do that. So the key points I found were the EU referendum, and in particular the falling value of the British pound. This has had an overspill effect on exchange rates, and it's quite a big issue for John Lewis because they do import a lot of their goods from outside, abroad. Also, this has had an effect on consumer confidence. A recent study done by JFK found that it's dropped from 8 points to -9 in consumer confidence. The next point I looked at was technological innovation, in particular Apple Pay. It's quite a big trend at the minute. A lot of people do have iPhones. It's basically secure network in which people can pay via their phones, but I do know that John Lewis don't have compatible terminals for this at the minute. The next section was economic, and the key things I found were the rise in living wage. This has forced John Lewis to make cuts to his employee benefits, and if you know John Lewis, then you know it's quite well known for its employee relations. The next point was the forecasted decrease in GDP growth from 1.6% in 2016 to 0.6% in 2017. This could have an effect on consumer confidence again and how much disposable income they have to spend on John Lewis goods and services. One criticism I found of this model was that these factors don't exist in isolation reality. So, for example, economic factors are normally as a result of political conditions. The next model that I used was Porter's 5 forces. So I looked at and found that the threat of new entrants is relatively low. And this is due to the fact there's a high capital investment needed to create a successful chain of stores. There's a store itself, the cost with that, and the employees and the services. Also, there's already key competitors in the market, and it'd be very hard to become as successful as them because they already have very strong customer relationships. Also found that the threat of substitutes was relatively high. This is mainly due to the fact there's a lot of alternatives, not just from retailers, but from specialist stores, from discount stores and supermarkets. For example, PC World, who is a specialist in electrical goods. Also, it's a very price competitive market, so the switching costs are very low and customers will try to find the best price. One of the criticisms I found of this model was that it's very oversimplified. Buyer power is a very general term for intermediate buyer, distribution and the end consumer. Then I analysed my micro environment, and to do this I used Porter's value chain, and I found the key value-adding activities were service and technological development. So technological development, I mean the app, loyalty cards, QVC scanning, things like that, that enhance the customer experience. Also service, they spend more than 65% more than other retailers on training development, on company values, teaching how to sell, things like this. They also have a number of personalised services, and again this just enhances the customer experience and encourages a positive brand perception. One key place they could improve was inbound logistics, and just to combine the online deliveries with in-store deliveries to make more for efficient supply chain, which they're actually looking at in the Milton Keynes warehouse at the minute. A key criticism I found of this model was that the value chain doesn't really appreciate marketing activities, and maybe that we should look at the relationship between the factors instead of them in isolation. To summarise, I did a SWOT analysis and found the key strengths were its brand image and its omni-channel selling strategy, so its website, the app, services, things like that. The key weakness was its target positioning because it's quite high priced, so it misses out a large chunk of the market. Another one was its decrease in employee satisfaction. Key opportunities were the growth of online shopping and technological innovation. Key threats were UK political uncertainty and strong competition. The key criticism I found in the SWOT analysis is it's quite static. So really you're just identifying these points. You're not really giving any strategic planning to overcome the key weaknesses or the key threats. So then I used my SWOT analysis to make some strategies through my TOES analysis. I used opportunities to overcome threats, and my first one was to ensure the omni-channel selling strategy stays ahead of its competitors using one of its strong strengths. My second one was ensuring prices are competitive by staying to Never Knowingly Unsold, which is their price match promise scheme. And my third one was to focus on convenience of shopping because it's a really big trend at the minute. So for example, concentrating on click and collect. My main criticism of this was it's quite complex, there's a lot of factors to overlap, and it's difficult to make strategic planning. Thank you for listening to the presentation.